You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Mo Kelly. I'll be with you until 10 o'clock tonight. And you may have heard during the news break with Mark Ronner, he had a story about how the NBA has just announced that they're postponing, not canceling, but postponing the Spurs-Lakers game and the Hornets-Clippers game. Both were scheduled tomorrow on Saturday, and they will be played at a later date. Quote, the NBA and the Clippers and Lakers organizations have been in communication with local officials in Los Angeles and Inglewood about the ongoing situation in the Los Angeles area, and the game postponements ensure no resources will be diverted from the wildfire response efforts. Close quote. That came from the league. And if you don't know, if you ever go to any professional sporting event or even college for that matter, you will see a law enforcement presence. You will see first responder presence because there's a large venue. You have to have a certain amount of staff to accommodate those events. And yes, to hold the event is to take resources away, which could be allocated for the fires. And there is this ongoing debate, which dates back to World War II, actually, if you know your history, about whether we should be playing sports events during times of crisis or times of war, or when there is a terrorist attack. And there are arguments for both sides. If you go back to World War II, some people will wrongly try to remember it as the United States canceling the World Series during World War II. No, it was not canceled, but there were travel restrictions issues, and teams had depleted rosters due to players serving in the war. The 1945 Major League Baseball All-Star Game was canceled due to travel restrictions. That's what I think a lot of people wrongly confused the All-Star Game with the World Series. In fact, 1943, the World Series was played in New York for games 1, 2, and 3. They had to modify the travel because there were travel restrictions during World War II. But it's been an ongoing debate. And we know that, for example, the Rams-Minnesota Vikings game, which is scheduled for SoFi Stadium on Monday, has been moved to Arizona to be played that night. Here's the argument, at least historically, why we play these games sometimes. Sometimes they're canceled, sometimes they're postponed. But usually the pressure is to play the game. And part of it is there's a feeling that we are serving a purpose of providing some sort of solace, comfort, and normality to people who've been affected. No, it's not going to help someone get their house back. No, it's not going to help someone who's been evacuated. No, it's not going to make anyone feel better in that regard. But there's something to be said for having the distraction, the emotional distraction, to make sure that there's a continuity in life, that there is not a disruption of all things in life. In fact, Lakers coach J.J. Redick said that he wanted to play the games to just give some people something to root for, something to feel good about. I'm paraphrasing him, but that's pretty much what he said. And I get that. I get that. America historically has turned to sports during the darkest times in our history. We've always turned to sports. And that's why, yes, we can be cynical and say they don't want to postpone it. They don't want to cancel it because they're worried about losing money. Yes, that is a part of it. But if you look at the greater historical view, there is a real argument to support the idea that you still play the game. You still play the game because it helps people who are suffering emotionally. Going back to the terrorist attack, New Year's Day, New Year's morning, there was a push to still have the Sugar Bowl that day. But the logistics and the danger and what I believe to be other possible credible threats, discretion was the better part of valor. So they just postponed it for one day, but they didn't cancel it all together. this is a part of that ongoing debate. And I don't think that there's any right answer. If you don't care anything about sports, you probably say postpone it, cancel it. I don't give a damn. I get that. I get that. Mark Ronner might be one of those people because he's confirmed a non-sports guy.
No, but just let decency and intelligence be your guide with these things. It's the same with any event.
It is, but some people may not interpret playing the game as being decent or appropriate. And I think that there is an argument to make that it may not seem it, but it serves a different purpose, which may not be evident or obvious to the non-sports fan.
I see that point, and yeah, I mean, you make me think of World War II, especially, where people observed certain rituals just to keep their spirits up.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, not show the Jerrys that we're not broken.
Right. I mean, it goes to the whole idea of what was happening after 9/11. There are plenty of examples. The fact that they even finished the Olympics at all. I mean, there was an argument to be made that they just should have canceled the rest of the Olympics in Munich after the Israeli athletes were killed.
Well, yeah, I don't think President Carter ever fully lived down canceling the Olympics in, what was it, 76?
It was, well, put it this way, in 1980, we were supposed to go to Russia, to Soviet Union, and we did not.
Okay.
And I guess that was during the Carter administration that he made that decision.
It's always a judgment call, though, and you see people who are so tone deaf, can't read the room. During other serious events, I've blocked people like famous artists and things like that on Twitter because they couldn't stop with the insane self-promotion. It's like, you can give this a break for a day.
You can.
Do you understand what's happening right now?
Yeah, you can. I mean, there is such a thing as time and place.
Yeah.
And we may disagree about what the time and place may be for this or that, but we should be able to agree that there is something called time and place. You know, there's a time to maybe make some jokes about what's happening right now. I don't know what those are, but I'm saying, but this is not the time. This is not the time to reach for that humor. There's a time, I would say, to look at what were some of the precipitating events and why this happened and who's responsible. I don't think now is that time. Well, I honestly don't.
I mean, the other side of that coin is that gallows humor keeps people sane, but use your head.
But not everyone can. I don't think everyone is born with the ability to be able to distinguish between right and wrong, right time, wrong time. Common sense ain't all that common.
If you're in doubt, it's okay to keep your mouth shut. You don't have to say something about everything all the time.
It's almost impossible these days with social media. It's almost as if people feel compelled. And I was arguing with someone about this. Like, you don't have to weigh in on every freaking thing, especially when it doesn't have anything to do with you. You have no discernible, applicable experience or reference point or connection to it.
Exactly. The world will get along without your hot take on absolutely everything during a crisis.
I remember I was arguing with this so-called former firefighter in Australia, and he was determined to tell me what happened in L.A. and why everything evolved the way that it did. I said, look, I'm not denying that you have professional experience, but you really don't know the lay of the land here, literally. You don't know what Santa Ana winds are. I could tell you about Altadena and Pacific Palisades. You'd have no reference point. It's better if you just shut the F up. Just stop.
I almost envy you leaving X/Twitter because the sheer quantity of awful takes on this situation is just overwhelming. It does more harm than good.
Look, talk about gallows humor. It is ridiculous how people are vaccine experts and immunologists one day, and then the next day they're experts on fire hydrants, and then the next day they're the experts on the testing procedures to become LA Fire Department chief. It's like, stop. You don't need to have an authoritative stance on every freaking thing.
Yeah, suddenly there has been a proliferation of experts on fire hydrant tech. Yes. I had no idea.
Yes, and then you realize, you're just regurgitating what you read somewhere of some source which affirms what you want to believe.
And it's usually some crank, and you're better off listening to the drunk sitting at the end of the bar.
It's not much different. It's pretty much the same, except the drunk is probably more honest.
I'm not going to name any names right now.
The drunk probably is probably less consumed with pushing a particular political point.
At least drunks at the end of the bar are a little bit entertaining.
No, I don't know. Usually obnoxious. Come on. I've run into a fair share of drunks at the end of the bar.
Well, you're hanging out at the wrong bars, Mo. We'll fix that after the crisis is over.
No, I don't go to bars anymore. That time is behind me for a number of reasons. One, because I'm married and I don't have the time in my life to hang out at the bar. Now, I will go to the occasional bar that's a part of like a meal or something. If I'm having a meal somewhere and there's a bar, then I'll get a drink from the bar. But I'm not going to the bar to have 6-7 drinks or something like that.
I'm trying to help you, but you're resisting it.
No. I've had that time in my life. You need to tell Isabella that because she still has more of that time in front of her. I don't. Those days are behind me.
I don't even think she's old enough to go to one.
Believe you me,
I'd be arrested.
She's like, I'm old enough and I've done enough.
I walked into the Air Mix yesterday and made an announcement for the fetuses in the room, and she was was one of them.
Yes.
Attention, fetuses.
Isabella, are you under the age of 27?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so were you born this century?
Yes.
Damn.
I am legally allowed to be at bars. I'll leave you with that.
All right. Are you allowed to rent a car?
No.
Oh, shoot. KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI AM 640. Mr. Mo Kelly here, live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. How should I phrase this? The Fork Reporter, Neil Saavedra, Fork Reporter, he's talking mess. Remember how I talked about how Planet Fitness, UFC, other places were opening up their businesses to allow people who have been displaced or evacuated somewhere they could charge their devices, take a shower, and I talked about the importance of something as simple as a shower, how meaningful it could be. And Fork Reporter decided to text me, Neil Saavedra, and he said, quote, "No one would offer you a free shower because we all know you refuse to take a short shower." That's Fork Reporter. Now, let me give you some context of what he's referring to. Many years ago, in fact, it had to be at least 10 years ago. It was before I got married. We were going through one of these droughts or whatever, and we were told to conserve water. And I got on my high horse and said, wait a minute. I live in a townhouse. I don't have a lawn, okay? I'm unmarried. I live by myself. My water footprint is minuscule. It's tiny. I don't wash my car at my house. Okay, I'm not wasting water, anything like that. And I said, I like taking 20-minute showers. Isabella, her eyes just lit. Was like, 20 minutes?
That's exactly what I said.
What are you doing in there?
That is absurd.
It is like a massage. A 20-minute hot shower. The water buffeting off my beautiful ass.
Thanks for the visual.
Well, you asked.
Can you hit the dump button on that?
No, don't you dare. Don't you dump that. My point is, that was my guilty pleasure back in the 20-teens, okay? And I got a lot of hate for that. How dare you take a 20-minute shower? We're enduring a drought. You need to save every drop. And this was my argument. Are you saying that the people who have a house of 4 or 5 people, their water footprint is the same as mine? Are you saying that those 4 individuals are all taking 5-minute showers And that somehow is different from my one person taking 20-minute shower?
I can see little kid Mo being like, look at what those kids are doing. Forget about me.
All I'm saying is they chose to live in the big ass house. They chose the cars that they're washing in the driveway. They chose to water the lawn. And I'm living in a townhouse with no lawn. I'm not washing my car. And my guilty pleasure is I'm taking a 20-minute shower. All right? And I'm paying for the water. Let's not forget, I'm paying for it. It's not like I'm getting it donated. It's not like I'm stealing from someone else. It's not like I have a pool in the backyard. So that's what Neil Saavedra was talking about, saying that I'd be turned away from Planet Fitness. I'd be turned away from a UFC gym because of my proclivity to take long showers. He's wrong. Well, I mean, he's right. I do take long showers, but no one can turn me away. Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, I'm glad you're owning it and appear to be proud of it somehow. That's inspiring to all of us. You're setting a terrific example.
Why would I not be proud of it? Now, if we were to get into everyone's bathing habits and hygiene, I'm quite sure we'd find some objectionable things in there.
I don't know what you're suggesting, but I smell glorious.
I'm suggesting that when you run into me, you know I am clean.
Actually, I try not to get that close to you.
Well, just in the off chance that you might be near me, you know, and I use soap. I use deodorant. I even use athlete's foot and dry between my toes.
I am happy simply to take your word for all this, all of it.
All I'm saying is since my integrity was impugned by Neil Saavedra, I feel compelled to clear my name.
Whose side to take in this matter? Do we have music, decision-making music?
Right. Since Neil went there, and he's listening right now. Oh, and by the way, Isabella, if he tries to call in, do not accept his call. If he tries to connect, through like Comrex or anything, do not allow him on the air. He's not allowed to rebut anything that I've said.
Wow.
Okay? He started it. I'm going to finish it. So let me just ask the question since we're here. What is the appropriate length of a shower then?
This just in, I'm not the shower police.
But right? Yeah. Next, you'll try to tell me how many times I'm allowed to flush.
No, but I myself am a frequent flusher, but I like your strategy of pointing to other people who do things worse than you to justify a bad thing you do. That's brilliant.
No, it's not a bad thing I do. Put it this way. If you were living in a house, not by yourself, let's say 3 people, and you have the dirty nerve after you wash your car and you water your lawn and you draw a bath for all your dirty ass crumb snatching kids, and you want to tell me that I'm out of line for my single, unmarried, living by myself, no lawn having, no car washing behind, take a 20-minute shower. You're saying that I am the one who's in the wrong? No, I'm going to point out your hypocrisy. Thank you very much. Let's go to break.
Oh, no. Let me paraphrase. Don't you dare.
Oh, I can't look at the time now.
No, you can't. Let me paraphrase. So if I can role play as Mr. Mo Kelly.
Careful now, okay?
No, officer, I only killed 1 person. Look at those people over there who committed 10 homicides.
Okay, I'm going to use your analogy. I'm going to use your analogy against you. It's almost like the people wanting to make a citizen's arrest because they have no power over me. The officer has the power to arrest. He has arresting powers. She has arresting powers. These random people out there don't have any agency over me. They take showers. I take showers. Okay.
Did you ask them how long their showers were?
No. The whole point is, it's none of their freaking business. Stay out of my bedroom. Stay out of my shower.
You don't want to be scolded, only scalded.
I don't want scalded.
You got to be quicker on those rim shots, Isabella.
Isabella, I don't think she even knows where it is. I don't think, has she been?
I'll find it.
See, she hasn't been instructed. Steph is a horrible teacher. Has not shown her anything important. Or she knows where it is and doesn't find anything you say funny, which I think is the more likely.
You make me ill and angry.
You make me ill and angry. We'll dance the night away. Can I go to break now, please?
Please, I beg you.
Now that everyone knows how I shower. And I use Old Spice.
Gross. Okay, are you going to make me wait now?
That sounds so wrong.
Oh.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And just to let you know, I'm quite sure Mark Ronner or I will have the new mandatory evacuation orders, which have been just passed out. It's an expansion relative to the Palisades fire, and it has to do with the 405 freeway. Going to get those specifics in just a moment for you so we can have it for you. Last hour, I was talking about, actually this hour, I was talking about how sporting events, we try not to cancel them. We'll postpone them if we can, because it has to do with the general mood and making sure that there's not as much of a disruption in American life. And sometimes people look to sports for a distraction, a diversion from the reality in which they may be dealing with. But less on that totem pole, if you will, is Hollywood in general. And Hollywood has been forced to cancel all sorts of events because of the many fires. You might have heard that Wicked at the Pantages Theater, 2 nights of Wicked, has been canceled due to the fires. Thursday's performance yesterday was canceled after yesterday's show was also pushed back. And in a statement posted on Facebook on Wednesday, the Pantages said the performance by the Wicked touring company is canceled, quote, due to extreme winds and fire conditions, close quote. As of today, the evening performance set for Thursday, January 9th, was scheduled to go on, but they had to cancel that as well. Severance Season 2 premiere, Apple's premiere and red carpet for Severance Season 2, was originally set for Monday, January 13th, has been canceled. Apple said it is donating to relief efforts. PGA Awards nominations. The Producers Guild pushed nominations announcements for its annual award show back to Sunday, the 12th, this Sunday. The WGA, the Writers Guild Association Award nominations, said it's postponing the release of its annual awards nominations, pushing it to January 13th. AARP Movies for Grown-Up Awards, that was set to take place on the 11th, as in tomorrow, at the Beverly Wilshire in Beverly Hills, but that has been postponed, and the ceremony has not yet been rescheduled. The Oscar nominations has been shifted from Friday the 17th, next Friday, to Sunday the 19th. The 2025 Critics' Choice Awards, which was originally set for this Sunday, has been postponed, and it would have been the 30th annual ceremony, and it was supposed to take place at the Santa Monica Airport Barker Hangar. Chelsea Handler was supposed to be the host for the 3rd consecutive time, but at this point, it is tentatively rescheduled for January 26th. And I say tentatively because with all of these fires, some of them are only 8% containment or limited containment. New fires popping up. We just can't say for sure that these dates are hard and fast. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts Tea Party, the BAFTA Awards, has been canceled. It was originally set to take place Saturday, as in tomorrow, the 11th, at the Beverly Hills Four Seasons Hotel. As I said, it's been canceled, not postponed. The Last Showgirl premiere, an LA premiere of The Last Showgirl from Gia Coppola and Kate Gerston, set to be held at the TCL Chinese Theater this upcoming Wednesday, has been canceled. The film's cast, led by Pamela Anderson, would have appeared on a red carpet to do press ahead of the screening of the film, which was Golden Globe nominated. SAG Award nominations, the in-person presentation of nominations for the Screen Actors Guild Awards, has been canceled, but the nominations have been revealed. The Wolfman premiere, Wolfman is the actual title of the movie. I actually want to see this movie. The premiere of the movie was supposed to take place Tuesday night earlier this week at the TCL Chinese Theater. That's just not going to happen. Back in Action premiere, the return of Jamie Foxx to at least a small screen, which was for Netflix, was canceled. And TV productions, sets for the following TV productions have also gone dark because of the fires. We told you about the Lakers home games, which were postponed, the Rams home game, which was moved, but that's just a small sampling of some of the many postponements, cancellations. Hollywood has been obviously highly impacted from the fires, not just because there's an element of Hollywood who lived in the Pacific Palisades, but of course the Hollywood Hills fire. And I think it is appropriate to cancel and postpone these events. We're talking about with Mark Ronner about being tone deaf. There's certain events that you really can and you really should cancel because there's not a need for them to go on. And also, it just like the sporting events, it pulls resources, first responders, away from the other more important duties of fighting these fires. And there will be more cancellations as we go on. Mark, were you getting ready to jump in?
No, but since I'm on the mic, I mean, the last thing that a lot of people want to see when they're in the middle of a life and death emergency is a bunch of preening celebrities
on a red carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. And that just adds to the negative view for some of the idea of Hollywood. You know, you just don't need that right about now.
There are a number of things that you can put on pause.
Yes. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll have more, and definitely before the end of the hour, we'll have the specifics on that expanded mandatory evacuation orders, which have just been handed down regarding the Palisades fire.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mo Kelly, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And about those evacuation orders, they were expanded this evening for the areas near the Palisades fire. The evacuation order is in effect from Sunset Boulevard North to Encino Reservoir, from the 405 freeway west to Mandeville Canyon. And this area was previously in an evacuation warning zone and now has been upgraded to a mandatory evacuation order. So, of course, even though it may not have been mandatory prior to right about now, it is a mandatory evacuation order. Please leave if you are in that area, and it's in effect from Sunset Boulevard North to Encino Reservoir, from the 405 freeway west to Mandeville Canyon. Mandatory evacuation. Mandatory evacuation. Do not wait. Hopefully you have prepared accordingly, or maybe you've already left the vicinity, but do not wait. Mandatory evacuation order is in effect from Sunset Boulevard North to Encino Reservoir, from the 405 freeway west to Mandeville Canyon. And there are other events which have been canceled or postponed due to the fires, and it's across all media. It's not just TV. It's not just movies. It's not just music. And in the next hour, we'll talk about how the different industries, breaking them down, how they're planning to try to help out. I know the music industry, I've received a lot of communications from various organizations within the music industry as far as how they're going to pool all their resources to help fire victims. I know the movie industry and various studios will tell you about, from Paramount to Disney, what they are going to do, and also television studios. If anything is encouraging about this is that we're hopefully being able to cut through all the unimportant stuff and get to the important stuff, which is the people who have lost their houses, the people who don't know where to go, the people who are looking for some sort of sense to be made of this. You know, it's one thing to talk about losing everything in the abstract. It's another thing to see people go through it. I have not gone through it, but I can say at this point, I know 8 people personally who've lost everything. And for me, that's unconscionable. Yeah, we say all the time that they're just things. They're all replaceable as long as you have your loved ones and your pets and you have your health. Everything's okay. Everything's manageable. And that intellectually may be true, but emotionally, it's definitely not true. Emotionally, just because you have the shirt on your back, it does not mean that everything is going to be okay. You have to take it, from what I understand, day to day, moment to moment, minute to minute, and just work through the problems that you can, however you can, with whatever's available to do it. Am I warm, Tawala?
Yeah, you're beyond your. I was about to say you're burning hot. Oh, you are beyond warm. You are beyond warm. I've spent the day combing through videos of friends, lifelong friends, childhood friends, high school, college, just friends who have been posting videos of the remains of their houses. People who live around the corner from me, people who live up the street, people who live down the block, who have lost everything. Some people who were out of town and came back in the hopes that their houses were still there, only to find rubble. And one friend who was hospitalized, was sick, had a very, very bad case of pneumonia, got out and come home to find out there is no home to return to. And it is shocking. You said something earlier that it really, really hit me when you said it, that sometimes something as simple as having a place to lay your head for the night, it means everything in the world. And so, bravo to all the organizations, all the places that are providing place to live, because I know my co-parent, Sai, she got me a brand new air mattress yesterday so that, that way when I got back to her house, I would have a place to lay down. And you have no idea what it meant to lay down and just fall asleep. I knocked out so hard and everything seemed to, in that moment, just having a nice place to lay down and put a blanket over my head, my whole world, all the tension, all the stress I've been feeling, it washed away. And so to know that there are so many people out there, all the Airbnbs and hotels that are full up right now, it's unspeakable to not have that. But right now, so many people do. Thousands upon thousands. Right now, we're looking at this fire coming down the hill right now, burning up property.
And the thing is, I was saying to you out in the hallways, seems like LA can't get a break. And each day there's another new major fire. And just because the first 14 or so didn't touch you, the 15th might. Although you might not have been evacuated as of yet, you might still be evacuated. Although that you've been evacuated once, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the only time that you're going to be forced to evacuate, because these fires are popping up in such widely distinct areas, Pacific Palisades and working its way down the 405, and all those communities, be it Santa Monica and south of Santa Monica, possibly into the Westwood area. There's no telling where all this is going. We don't know where the next fire is going to be. It just seems like Southern California can't get a break. And so if you haven't been impacted yet, doesn't mean that you won't tomorrow. That's part of the reason why we talk about this, because you may need to know this information before you find yourself evacuated. Not after, but before. So you have a reference point if you should be evacuated, because there are people who weren't evacuated yesterday, but from this mandatory evacuation I just told you about earlier, now they're in the process of evacuating, and they have to consider all the things that we've been talking about the past 2 or 3 days. Yes, this is important. The information is very important.
I really do hope people heed when you say that the evacuation is in order, because again, I have some friends who unfortunately did not heed the importance of the evacuation orders when they received them, and they thought that they had time, not knowing that with these SoCal winds we've been experiencing, and as my friend who joined us last night, who's a firefighter, the wind is moving these flames in ways that we've never seen before. When it comes to SoCal wildfires, you don't know how soon or when it's going to hit you. Our friends who live in Altadena, along Loma Alta, that's all gone, who had just enough time to see the flames sparking at the house next door before they knew it, their house was already on fire. They could only grab, their kids, their animals, maybe some bag of dog food, and they're out the door. They didn't even have time to think about what to grab. There was no go bags that they had ready to go, because they thought, we got all the time in the world. We'll wait till we see it. Or no. If you've received an evacuation order, heed that. Pack your go bags, get your essentials, the things that you know you cannot live without. Not things you want. Get the things you need and be out.
We mentioned this before, and unfortunately, it's tragic for some, but it's a rare opportunity for others. If only because, let's say you had not considered the idea of a go bag on Tuesday. Maybe you have by now and you have it in place and you're getting evacuated on a Friday and you're not caught off guard or ill prepared. It can be an opportunity, but that's provided you're using this time and this information wisely. That's why we keep repeating it. That's why we keep reminding you. That's why we keep stressing the importance of having these things. And, look, I had to refresh my go bag. It was fine for like an earthquake, but it really wasn't fire ready for those types of things, as far as having the goggles and or some sort of breathing apparatus to help me if it happened to be a high ash or very, very poor air quality area. Just you have to consider different things now. And my wife and I, we sat down and made sure that we had the paper documents that were real important. Could be like social security cards. It could be the deed to the house, any type of physical media that we think that we need, like hard drives. Yes. Put it that way.
Yes.
It's digital media, but it's a physical drive. You got to make sure that you have that as well. Not everything's in the cloud. Now, and then I've been thinking about this. If there is some saving grace, we're now in an age where a lot of people do have much of this on the cloud or some sort of portable digital storage. And you may not have to search through all the closet, because I have a drive which has all my tax information, all business records, all that kind of stuff. It's on my desk. I pick it up. It fits in my hand, and I don't have to think about it. Go. Mm-hmm. And the rest of it's all on, in the cloud as well. But I have a physical backup as well. That's just thinking ahead over the years. But I had to learn from other people. It was other people's tragedies which taught me about how to prepare and what to prepare if in the event that I have to go quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let someone else's pain be your professor. Let someone else's tragedy be your teacher if need be. And I'm not saying I'm wishing that on anyone, but don't let the wisdom and the lesson just escape you. You don't have to go through the same things as everyone else. You don't have to. There's enough information and there's enough instruction out there where you can avoid some unnecessary pain. Get your stuff together now. Get your documents together now. Get your go bag together now. Why? Because there's seemingly going to be another fire either tonight, or you might get that inappropriate emergency alert message, and it might be real this time around, and you might have to go at a moment's notice, but you don't have to worry about whether you have everything ready to go. You can just literally wake up, get up, walk out the door, and you and your family and some very important items will be safe and with you. And that sometimes has to be enough. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere.